Today I'm going to be sharing everything I know on the variegated peacelily, also known as the spathiphyllum diamond. Hello everyone, welcome to my jungle story. I'm Jacqueline and I'm going to be talking about this beauty. She is stunning. She is over 2 years old, so I feel like I'm in a position to be able to give advice on this plant. I want to start a series where I share tips and tricks on certain plants that I've had in my collection for over 1.5 to 2 years. This one I've had in my collection for 2 years, and she has been in the same size pot for 2 years as well. So yeah, we're also going to be, if you stick around at the end of the video, I'm also going to be repotting her so we can have a look at her roots. I honestly don't think her root system is going to be that amazing because a couple of months ago I also had a little bit of a peek and they weren't amazing, and she is giving me signs that she needs to be potted up. But anyway, we'll get to that at the end. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the needs, the tips, the tricks, everything that this plant needs to be able to get a beautiful, lush plant like this. So I bought her 2 years ago and she had 3 leaves and a 4th leaf was unfurling when I bought her. But the pot that she was in a 12 centimeter pot, and for 4 leaves, that's not a lot. So when I had a look at her root system when I got home, I was very surprised that she was completely root bound. So what I think what happened is at the nursery, they used this specific type of fertilizer to boost root growth. And the roots were amazing. They were super, super healthy, but unfortunately I could see that the plant needed like a pick-me-up. So I actually potted her up straight away. I went up against my rule of waiting a while until you repot her with purchased plants, and she didn't really complain. She loved it. She gives me new leaves all the time, and she still does. She is giving me signs lately that something's wrong. Like it's definitely not fertilizer because I feed her every single watering. So I'm thinking it might be that she just needs a refresh of the soil because I don't think she has an amazing root system. And also the mix that she's in at the moment is actually quite a chunky mix, which means that she also dries out a lot. And there have been times where she is completely droopy, and that's not good. That's when I start getting like these brown tips, and she kind of looks a little bit, to me, she looks a little bit droopy now when she actually isn't. She had water 2 days ago. But yeah, it just means that something's up. We need to have a look at her, and I just think she needs to go into a bigger pot. But, so what I did when I purchased this plant is I actually gave her a spot that was very, very low light. She did not get a lot of light. And that did mean that the growth did slow down a lot, but she still gave me pretty good growth. So when it comes to lighting, they do say that this can survive in low light, but it won't thrive. She needs indirect bright light. So what does that mean, indirect bright light? It basically means not in the sun. As long as she's not in the sun, like for example, maybe like an facing window, that would be really good for her. But at the moment, she's actually living on top of my IKEA cabinets here. And she is quite happy there. She gives me about, I would say, a month, 5 leaves. She gives me quite a lot of leaves. She continuously gives me leaves as well. There has never been a point where I've noticed that her growth has slowed down, even in the different spots that she's been in. She's actually lived in, this is her 3rd spot that she's lived in, and I'm going to keep her there now. I'm quite happy with her there. But she's lived in my bedroom as well, and my bedroom does have a south-facing window, but it does have blinds, so it does I don't know, she was also on the ground, so I don't think that she was doing very well there. And the other one was in the bathroom. Now, I do have to say, out of the 3 spots that she's been in, the bathroom is the one spot that she thrived. She had a north-facing window, she continuously had light, and she had a lot of humidity. I did notice that this plant absolutely thrives on humidity. But yeah, back to light, she just needs a spot that gets a lot of indirect bright light. Not in the sun, and preferably not in a low light spot. She's going to survive, but she's not going to thrive. She's not going to give you the growth that you want in her, because you want a big, beautiful, lush one. You want her to grow. You want her to, I mean, to be fair, for 2 years, I think she probably could be bigger, but I think that's due to my own fault, due to the couple of times that I've moved her, due to the couple of times that I've forgotten to water her. I've never let her get incredibly droopy. Like, I spot it straight away when she gives me the signs, and I do water her straight away. But like I said, she's in a very chunky mix, so I'm gonna give her a little bit more of a water retentive mix when I repot her. So next up is water. This plant, honestly, she is a thirsty gal, and she will give you the signs when she needs water. In the summer, I water her twice a week. In the winter, I water her once a week. It also depends on the weather. So, for example, if you've had a week of a lot of rain, you will notice that you might be able to wait like maybe a day or two on your normal watering day or whatever, but just keep an eye on her. She will give you the sign when she needs water. And also just check her soil. It's preferably to give her water before she starts to droop, because if she starts to droop, that means that she's just using up a little bit too much energy than she actually needs to, because she's going into the roots and she's sucking out of there, and you don't want that. So just give water, I would say, every single week. Honestly, I have been giving her water every 4 days, but again, that's my own fault. That's because she needs to go into a bigger pot, and she needs a more, ignore Lexi, she needs a more water retentive mix. Leading on to the soil, the mix that she needs to be in, she needs to be in a mix that is more water retentive. So what that means is a mix that has cocoa coir, that has preferably some worm castings or some sort of compost, some bark. And then you also want something in your mix that is going to let her drain out well as well. So it needs to be a well-draining soil mix, not too water retentive, but it still has to be able to, I will show you the mix at the end when I water it, but it's basically, for the most part, it's cocoa coir and worm castings that I have in there, and then I add perlite and orchid bark to it, just for that drainage, because right now there's too much orchid bark in her mix, and that means that she's just drying out a lot quicker, as she's not able to retain as much of the moisture as needed. When I water it, honestly, the water just drains out straight away. I can tell that the mixture doesn't suck it up as well. So yeah, definitely more cocoa coir and more worm castings or compost or whatever. Have that in your mix. Going on to fertilizer. This plant does not need a strong fertilizer. So what I mean by that is, whatever fertilizer that you have, use a diluted form of what they say on the back of your bottle, just because what can happen with these plants, I've noticed from experience with my first spathiphyllum that I had, not the diamond version, is that she actually had root burn. So I was using the form of fertilizer that it recommended on the back of the bottle, and I started to notice that she was getting fertilizer burn. And you will see that your plants will give you signs of that. Every plant will show different signs, but what I noticed with this one is that the leaves started to lose its vibrancy. Like, I don't know quite how to say it. The color of the leaves was just slightly different, and I could also tell by the roots. You can Google it and you can see exactly what fertilizer burn looks like. But yeah, your plant will give you very quick signs when you get fertilizer burn. So that's when I moved on to a more diluted form, and it has really, really worked for me. But if you want her to bloom, on the other hand, I would recommend using a fertilizer that's a blooming fertilizer. So, wow, the sun's really come in there. So, yeah, you can get fertilizers. It probably will be like in the outdoor section where it says on there, like, fertilizer to get your plants to bloom. I only use that. I use the one that we use outside. I only use that over about a space of 4 months. I don't do it every year, to be honest. I didn't do it last year. I have done it this year, and she's given me probably about three or four this year already. And last year she only gave it to me once, but the blooms are stunning, especially with the diamond. Even in the blooms, there's variegation. It's beautiful. So yeah, if you want it to bloom, use fertilizer that's specifically to help your plants flower. Now, I've already talked about humidity a little bit, but these plants do love the extra humidity. When she was living in the bathroom, she was living her best life. She loved it. She did get less light in the bathroom, but I think because she just had so much humidity that it didn't really phase her, to be honest. I didn't really notice the difference in her when it came to the lighting needs that she needed. What I mean by that is that she got less light in the bathroom, but I did not notice a difference in her at all. She actually gave me more leaves in the bathroom, and I think that's mainly just due to more humidity. Right now, like I said, she's living up there, and I have a humidifier over there. And it has been raining a lot the last couple of days, so the humidifier has not been on. But when it's very, very humid, I can just see that she's shining and that she's loved it. So they do like a little bit of extra humidity. Anything above the 60% humidity, and yeah, they will love it. As for temperature, they're not incredibly fussy, except for the fact, do not keep them around cold drafts or heaters, because you will notice that she won't like it. The cold drafts will make her leaves droop. She will get crusty ends. She just won't like it. She won't appreciate it. And same goes for heaters. If they're around heaters, that also means that the air around them will be slightly more dry, and they love humidity, so she just won't like that. So keep that in mind where you place your peacelily. That actually goes for all of the peacelilies, that they don't like cold drafts and they don't like to be close to heaters. Propagation. So you can propagate this plant through division. I can actually show you. I don't know if you're really going to be able to see, but in this pot, I could probably make about 1, 2, 3, 4. I could probably make this into 4 different plants. Now, I don't want that. I want a big bushy effect. So I just keep on putting her up and I don't divide her, but you can propagate her by division. She will naturally just spread out and make pups and make new babies. So yeah, I think I've covered all of the topics on her. Now, I do have to say that I used to have a regular spathiphyllum, and I couldn't win with her. I think I went through about 3 and then I eventually gave up because I bought her. She was a baby. And I mean, she was so beautiful, the little baby. I don't think I have a picture of her, but the little baby version of her was so adorable. It was so variegated. Once they get bigger, the variegation does slightly, I don't know, I feel like it becomes a little bit more stable. It's just, I mean, yeah, she is beautiful. I know there are different varieties of variegated ones. I know there's the domino. I've actually had a domino, but I got rid of her because I had this one, and this one was doing so much better than the domino that I I didn't really feel the need to have her. And as for the regular spathiphyllum, like I said, yeah, I just did not have the best of luck with her. The leaves are also slightly thinner of the regular spathiphyllum. I don't know how to describe it, but they are slightly thinner, and I just feel like it is more sensitive. I was really nervous with this one because I've not had the best of luck when it comes to variegated plants. So when I saw this one, it was definitely, I mean, I didn't pay a whole lot for her, but I really wanted to give her a try because she just stood out to me straight away. And I feel like when you see a plant that just stands out to you, and I actually didn't get her straight away. I went back 2 days later and I got her because I couldn't stop thinking about her. And I'm always like, if I keep on thinking about a plant that I've seen in a garden center, it means that I really, really want it. And it's not just like oh, you're there, it's beautiful, just buy it. You know, I kept on thinking about her and I just really wanted to give her a try, and I have not regretted it because she is the only spathiphyllum that I actually still have in my collection because I did downsize. But honestly, I don't regret it. She's beautiful. She just ticks every box for me. And the regular one it bloomed a lot for me, the regular one. This one doesn't bloom as much as the regular form. But I don't know. She just wasn't doing it for me. She wasn't doing great. She was giving me more stress than she was bringing me joy. And when I went through a deep cleanse of all of my plants, I just decided to get rid of the ones that were not bringing me joy, and she was the only one that was left over. But I don't regret it because she's done really, really well in the 2 years that I've had her. So yeah, that is everything that I know on the spathiphyllum diamond. When it comes to care with spathiphyllum, honestly, or peacelily, or whatever you want to say, it is pretty much the same for all of them. I don't know why I didn't have the best of luck with the regular one, honestly. I think it might have just been that I wasn't watering her enough, or I don't know, but this one is very, very forgiving. I don't know, I've forgotten a couple of times to water, and yeah, I mean, she has a couple of brown tips here and there, but she does not stop giving me new leaves. She's just keeps on going all year round. I don't know if I mentioned this, but when it comes to fertilizer, I fertilize her all year round. I don't stop in the winter. I actually don't do that with any of my plants. I continuously fertilize them. I use a diluted form of the fertilizer that I have, but I just keep on fertilizing all of my plants. As long as they're giving me growth, they need food. And she has given me continuous growth. She right now, I don't know if you can see, there's a new leaf here, there's a new one here, here, I think she's giving me about 6 new leaves in one go. So yeah, she needs food. She needs nutrients to be able to support that new growth. I hope that this gave you the courage, if you do not have one of these and you've been scared to purchase one, I hope this gave you the courage to get one, because I feel like everyone should have this one in their collection. It just screams jungle vibes to me. She's so big and beautiful. She's so forgiving. She's so easygoing. And yeah, everyone needs to be able to enjoy her. So we are going to repot her. I'm going to have a look at her roots. And I'm just going to give her a bigger pot because she needs it. Her roots will not be amazing. I know this. I checked a couple of months ago, but she will just appreciate the new soil and just like a little bit of extra nutrients. Because right now the soil is a certain color that you know there's no more nutrients left in there. You know, she needs a little bit of a TLC. Okay, I've popped you down here so you can actually see what I'm doing. But as you can see, this is the pot that she's in. It's quite a fair size considering she came from a 12 centimeter one. But I can actually also feel that she needs water again. I only watered her a couple of days ago. See, she's not, as you can see by that, she's not root balanced. You actually, if you have a plant like this with this root system, you actually would not need to repot her. I'm going to, just because I've noticed that there's just something going on with her. I also want to put her in a mix that doesn't have as much bark, because it's actually mainly bark. So let's just, I'm going to be putting her in this pot. So there's not a huge difference, but to be honest, that's as big as I want to go for her, and that's the size that I want to keep her in. So in the future, I will keep her in this pot. I will just refresh the soil every couple of years. It's been 2 years now, so I do feel like she needs an upsize. The roots do feel a little bit dried out. This mix just doesn't keep moisture. I actually want to check that she doesn't have one of those netting cages around her roots, because 2 years ago I didn't really pay attention to that as much as I should have done. So I do want to check and she doesn't have that, but I don't think she will. I'm just going to feel with my finger. No, there's no cage in here. Okay, I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay, so I have my mix over here, and this is the mix that I'm going to be using. So in here is cocoa coir, perlite, orchid bark. That is actually all you need, but I have added worm castings and I have added activated charcoal. You don't need to add those last two. Those are optional. This plant basically just needs cocoa coir, perlite, and orchid bark. And I have added a little bit more orchid bark, cocoa coir than the last time, just so that she can keep water a little bit better, because she's drying out way too quickly. So let's fill her up. Okay, I keep on pulling her up because I keep on realizing that she could actually be higher out of the pot. I do have quite a big gap, and it doesn't need to be that big. It's always best that when you repot a plant that you have like at least 1 centimeter, so that if you give it water and it's too much water, that it doesn't drip out of your pot. Yeah, this soil looks so much better than what she was in. Okay, I thought this was going to be not as big of an upsize, but it actually is. Because the pot that she was in, I feel like over time, soil can really compact down so that it's not as, your pot just isn't as full, like it actually compresses down and you have like gaps at the side, which can also happen if you leave your soil to dry out for too long. And I think that was definitely the case with her, because I obviously noticed that she wasn't as finicky when it came to watering. So I wasn't super on top of it. But in the last couple of months, she's really been needing a lot of water. And just not looking as perky as she used to. And she's been living in that spot for quite a while actually, so It's not the location that she was in, because she does get a lot of light. Wow, this is taking so much more mix than I thought it would. There we go. Just in a bigger pot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to give her a really good watering, let the water drain out, and put her back in her spot. Here she is in her beautiful new pot, well, basket, but yeah, she's quite heavy now with all that water that she's got. As you can see, I completely let her drain out, and I just let it drip there for a while, and she's gonna love it. She's gonna look a lot better. The soil just looks so much healthier than the other one was. Okay, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope that you got some useful tips and tricks when it comes to the peace lily. Like I said, the care for this peace lily is the same as for all of the others. I just did have a little bit of less luck with them, but she is one of my favorite plants. I just love her so much. She is one that I'm going to have in my collection for a very, very long time, and I think I'm never actually going to be able to part with her. The day that she croaks on me is going to be a very, very sad day, but I'm going to do everything in my power to prevent that from happening. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope that this motivated you to be a little bit more daring with your peace lily and maybe give this one a try, because she is so rewarding. So yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye.